Hello everyone, how are you all doing? Now, I did a post recently in the WhatsApp groups saying how 3 musts hold us back in life. An Albert Ellis quote, which I absolutely love. When I was first on the journey, it really opened my eyes to the 3 simple yet irrational musts that hold us back in life. And those musts are, I must do well, you must treat me well, and life must be easy. Okay? So when we hold rigidly onto those 3 musts, we are setting ourselves up for emotional turmoil, for emotional trouble, for emotional discomfort. Let's break down the first one. I must do well. Now, you can have a very passionate, strong, burning desire to do well. Okay? You're not taking that away. The aim isn't to take away a desire to do well. The aim is to change how rigid we are around must doing well. Okay? When we say, I must do well, we are implying that we are some sort of godlike superhuman figure that can only do well at all times. That we are perfect in every area. That we must do everything well. That if that was true, if that irrational belief was true, then we would always do well. But we don't, because we're imperfect, we're fallible, we mess up, we make mistakes. Humans have weaknesses. This is how humans evolve, from messing up and learning from past mistakes and aiming to not mess up again. But we're constantly evolving, we're constantly changing. We're an ever-changing process, an ever-changing being. Okay, so as soon as I say, I must do well, you are going against the laws of science, because you are saying that you cannot mess up in any area, no matter if it's your career, no matter if it's your relationship, no matter if it's your exercise, no matter if it's your OCD recovery journey. You are implying that you're going to do it exceptionally well every time, which isn't the case. Okay? I must do well. I cannot fail. Failure just cannot happen to me. That is completely irrational. Now, this is why it's important to still strive for things, because the misconception with unconditional acceptance is that because I'm dropping the must to a more flexible preference, people think that, oh yeah, I can mess up, I can do badly at things, I can fail all the time and not really give a damn. No, that is a huge misconception. Now I am rational, now I have unconditional acceptance, I am more determined than ever, I am more driven than ever. I strive to do well because I love doing well. A big aim of mine is to perform well in all areas. However, I know that I am a human and I am going to fail. Things won't always go my way. I am not going to be good at certain things and maybe good at other things. Okay, because there is no perfect human being. They do not exist. Okay, so when we say I must do well, we have to look at it as that I would strongly like to do well, but I never need to do well, no matter how much I would like to do that thing well. Okay, it's very, very important. This is how I look at things like that, okay? Because, like I've already said, I strive to do the best that I can at things. But then I never see failure, I never see weakness, I never see mistakes, I never see doing bad as a bad thing, because look at the lessons you can learn from that. Look how you can overcome that. For example, if I fail at something, if I wasn't any good at something, if I was kept getting very poor results at a certain career, or maybe kept missing financial targets, or maybe I just kept having setback after setback, maybe I just kept putting on weight and the aim was to lose weight, maybe I couldn't hit a target that I was trying to run for exercise, the list goes on. But the point is, you see where you're going wrong and you look to change. Okay, if I held that I must do well, I'd be so anxious, I'd be so depressed, I'd be so guilty for failing, then I wouldn't have a clear mind to act on where I've gone wrong. Okay, to look at where I went wrong and prevent that from happening in the future. Okay, so it's not only going against the laws of science and I must do well, because that's not possible, but you're also shutting the door on learning from mistakes, from learning on failure, okay, which is a huge thing. It's the same with indecisiveness. When I was so scared of doing wrong, or not doing well, or messing up, or making a mistake, I was very, very indecisive. indecision was a huge trait of mine, because indecision is a decision. You decide to do nothing. You decide to not make a decision because maybe the responsibility aspect's jacked up. Maybe you can't possibly face making the wrong decision. Maybe you see making the wrong decision as bad and you write yourself off for making the wrong decision. But no, because I'd rather make the wrong decision than no decision, because even with the wrong decision, no matter how serious the consequences are, and of course there are going to be very big don't use that word, there are going to be decisions where there will be serious consequences. Of course there'll be a serious error, but it doesn't mean you can't learn from that. Okay, you don't go out your way trying to make wrong decisions, of course you don't, but even if you do make a wrong decision, you're always looking to learn and overcome, and how can I not mess up again? How can I not mess up in the future? This is how humans evolve, because we are ever changing, constantly learning, adapting, adjusting to all different things, new technology, new ways of doing things, or maybe seeing old ways that didn't work and they found a better way at things. Okay, it's very, very important. Now let's look at the other must. You must treat me well. That's something I used to hold on to so rigidly, but looking at it now I'm rational. Now you've read all the books on the reading list, I'm sure you can see how that is completely irrational. You must treat me well. When you're saying things like that, look at what you're implying. Look at what you're stating. You are stating that every human being must, under all conditions, under all circumstances, treat you well, treat you how you want to be treated. Now, of course, we would like them to. We want them to. It is nice. It's a nice feeling if someone treats you well, but there is no universal law stating that they must treat you that way, no matter how much you'd like them to. And that's so important. That's not to say if someone treats you badly, you don't care. It's not to say if someone treats you unfairly, you don't care. It's not to say if someone treats you inconsiderately, you don't give a damn. That's not the case at all. Of course, you're going to say, you're going to stand up for yourself and say, look, I didn't like how you treated me. I think that was out of order. That was bang out of order. And of course, you can raise that point. That is completely fine and valid. However, if you are then rigidly holding on to, you must treat me well, there is no wonder you're going to feel anger. There is no wonder you're going to feel rage. There is no wonder you're going to feel anxious, depressed and guilty, and the list goes on. Okay? Because you are implying that that person must, under all conditions, treat me well. They have to treat me well. It's unbearable if they don't. I cannot stand it if they don't, which is complete crap, because people will treat you however they want to treat you. That is a hardship of life, okay? No matter if you treat them well, there's no guarantee they're going to treat you well back, no matter how much you would like them to. Okay, it's very important to remember that. So you can still have yet again, the misconception is, oh yeah, I don't care how people treat me. No, you're going to still stand up for your ground. You're going to still stand up for yourself if people don't treat you bad, if people don't treat you well. But it's not that rigid. That person has to treat me well. Otherwise, I am no good. Otherwise, life is rubbish. Otherwise, they are a scumbag. Otherwise, they're evil, because that is conditional other acceptance. Last must. Life must be easy. Imagine that was the case. Imagine that was true. Okay, then there'll be some sort of universal deservingness law that means if you do well, or if you succeed in an area, then you automatically get the rewards. That is not the case. If that was true, then kids wouldn't die of cancer, then natural disasters wouldn't happen, then there wouldn't be financial crisis, there wouldn't be people getting very, very serious diseases, severe illnesses, there wouldn't be poverty, there wouldn't be famine. The list goes on and on and on. My football team wouldn't lose every week if life must be easy. I've just been for a run, hence I'm a bit coffee. So you can look at all different things why life isn't easy, and there is no. You're not entitled to anything. The universe owes us nothing. The universe was here first. The world was here first. We are not owed anything in life. We would like life to be easy and comfortable, but it is not. Life is not easy. There is struggle in any part of life. If you look at someone who's very rich and maybe a business owner or a footballer or a very famous actor, there would have been struggle, and there still will be struggle to maintain that sort of level. If you look at a footballer, for example, the struggle going through all the academies and then going up to the top level, and all the pressure, all the media hype, all the interviews, paparazzis following you around everywhere. Just because they're rewarded financially, just because they are treated very well, there would be lots and lots of struggle in that journey. Okay, imagine everywhere you go, you get recognised in the street. You know, it wouldn't be a very easy way of living. Okay, if you look at, for example, a CEO or business owner, imagine the sort of the hours they had to put in at the start of that journey, building the business when no one was even, you know, no one even knew who you were, no one even knew who your company was. Building that business, you don't just wake up and then you're suddenly a CEO of a company. You don't just suddenly wake up and then you're very rich and successful. There is struggle, there is suffering, there are all different experiences to get to a certain place. Okay, there is no, just to add on that there is no sort of destination. Life isn't a destination, it's a constant journey. It's ever changing, it's evolution. Okay, it's not just, say, look at OCD recovery, for example. It's not, right, I'm recovered from OCD now, I've ran through the finishing line, I'm at the destination of recovery, bye-bye. It doesn't work like that, because you're always changing, you're always learning. Just because you've got one belief now doesn't mean that belief can't change. Just because you're rubbish at one thing now, like a rubbish trait or a rubbish attribute, doesn't mean you can't then work on that and change that. The point is, humans are always changing and always learning and adapting and adjusting and getting used to all different kinds of scenarios in life, because there is no guarantee. Life can chuck anything your way. Life must be easy. When we're saying that, what happens when I get diagnosed with cancer tomorrow? What happens when, after this video, I get hit by a bus? What happens when I have the biggest setback in the world tomorrow? What is if that happens? So if I was implying that life must be easy, those things wouldn't happen. There would be some sort of guarantee. There'd be some sort of, you're entitled to this, Sam, so this can't happen to you. No, because anything could happen. You could lose your whole family in a car crash. You can have a huge natural disaster that wipes your whole community out, that wipes your whole city out. Okay, all of a sudden your country can go to war. You know, I can list so many adversities. The list just goes on and on and on. So when you are implying that life must be easy, you are subconsciously stating that there is some universal law saying no, because you are here, that means you cannot possibly have suffering. You cannot go through a struggle. You are entitled, or you deserve comfort. You deserve to live easy life. That just does not exist. That is just a myth that people hold on to. So those three simple irrational musts hold so many people back. We have to look to change that, rip them up, because when we are, I'm going to leave you on this, I'm going to leave the video on this, and this is a very important point. So when you are feeling anxious, when you're feeling depressed, when you're feeling guilty, chronic guilt, chronic shame, when you are just feeling very, very low, or just completely, when you're in the midst of the suffering, okay, I want you to think about this. What irrational must are you holding on to very rigidly? What irrational should are you holding on to? Life should not be this way. Why does this have to happen to me? I cannot stand this. I cannot bear this. I must be recovered right now. I cannot have suffering. Life must be easy. That person must not have said that. That person must not have triggered me. Why do I have to have OCD? Right? Now, they are not just musts and shoulds. There are many different things, but they are very rigid. They're demands. They're just look how tightly you're holding on to them. Okay, because they're very black and white. There's no flexibility there. So we need to change into more to flexible preferences. Okay, but the point is, when you are really stuck, look at the irrational belief, the must, the irrational should, the irrational ought, the irrational have to, I can't stand it, unbearable. Look at the things you're holding on to and rip them up. Okay, we need to change them to more flexible preferences. As you're doing that, okay, don't expect to suddenly feel better, right? When I was saying things like, I must never have that thought is horrendous, and I changed it to, look, I don't like that thought, but I can stand it. Now, when I did that, I didn't suddenly feel better, okay, because you're not going to believe that, but you kind of have to start trying to change that belief, and then maybe assess in 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, a year, 18 months, 2 years. The point is, it's a marathon, not a sprint. To change your irrational beliefs, it takes time. It takes a lot of time. It doesn't just happen overnight. You don't just read the first book on the reading list, how to stubbornly refuse to make yourself miserable, and then it's all sorted. It doesn't work like that. You don't just have one call with me, Nick, Rob, Momin, and it's all sorted. It doesn't work like that. It takes time to break down beliefs. Okay, so really think about these 3 irrational musts and look to rip them up and change them.